A leader manages their numbers. You have to be strong, but you never show any sort of weakness. I've been through lawsuits and issues with team members and issues with schools and all sorts of employee problems. I've seen it all. Leaders have to set the true example of those core values to a T, and mine do. If you're the head of sales, I don't want you selling. I want you managing the sales team. Hello, I'm Eric Horowitz. I'm a multimillionaire entrepreneur, American living in Dubai, who grew a business Lift and Enrichment from 0 to 8 figures, and I run it only taking me 8 hours a month. I'm a consultant helping you grow. Here are my 10 principles of leadership. Now, I have a pretty nice leadership team: president, sales director, operations director, fractional CFO, HR director, and a little bit of middle management. So here are the principles that I am going to be sharing with them in the near future for our annual retreat to Cuba. I have a written form of this. You'll see that in the comment below. In the description, but let's get started. Number 1, leaders work hard. All of my staff are very hard workers. They don't just clock in at 9 a.m. and leave at 5 p.m. In fact, some of my top team members, they actually work too much. I have a president, for example, who I literally have to force to go on vacation and set boundaries where when she's on vacation, she's not allowed to check in. She's not allowed to check in with Slack. She had a vacation previously where it was way too much interaction with, her and the team and whatnot. And all of it was never, ever, ever a 9 out of 10 emergency. That's the type of person you want working. These people start early and end later, will hop in on a call on a weekend, and they don't whine and complain. I've never met a leader who slacks. Now, I'm at a point where I have a lot of time freedom, and that's because I put in the work. I put in the blood, sweat, tears, because I've been doing this for 15 years. So anyone who's a leader, they got to be hardworking. Here's a little test that I like to have for my leaders. You can take it as well. So what I do is I say, oh, you want to be a leader? You want to be a manager for my company? Go buy the book Traction, which is literally right there. That's a signed copy by Gino Wickman to me. And I want you to read it. And then I want you to have a meeting with me, 15 minutes or 20 minutes on Zoom. And I want you to share with me your takeaways from the book. Now, here's the thing. How long does it take this person to do that task? People I assign this task to, if it takes more than 1-2 weeks, they're not hardworking. They don't want to go. I even had somebody say, hey, are you going to pay for the book? I'm like, it's $20. And you could probably find it for free somewhere if you really wanted to. And the good people will literally book a meeting with me within less than 2 weeks because they know if they want to make more money and be promoted and have more responsibility, they got to read that book. So might as well buy it and get started. And not only do these leaders work hard, they also lead by example. They are constantly showing their team that hard work is important, following the process is important, and they have to exemplify every facet of what it takes to succeed. Principle number 2 is leaders actually take the time to give constructive feedback regularly. A lot of people in entrepreneurship are scared of giving real helpful feedback to their staff. And there's a technique I use called the conversation recap. So here's how it works. If a staff member isn't doing their job well, they need to be spoken to about this. Most people have trouble doing that. I don't. So what you do is you sit down and you have the conversation. For us, it's on Zoom. I say, hey, look, this is what you're doing well. This is what you're not doing well. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out a solution. And then the conversation recap is an email titled Conversation Recap. It says, hi, so-and-so. Here's the bullet point recap of what we talked about. Bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just says what we talked about. But the cool thing about an email is it locks it in, it timestamps it, and you can share it with other people on the team. So CC me, CC other staff members. I send recaps. And when somebody comes to me and says, hey, my team member isn't performing very well, someone I'm working with below me isn't working well, I'm like, where's the conversation recap? Because if you gave them constructive criticism, you would have logged it. All of the leaders that I've worked with, that I personally train, they do recaps, and they know if they come to me with a problem from employment, where's a conversation recap? Because if it goes up to this level, where's that me? It's probably happened 1, 2, or 3 times. Principle 3 is a leader is disciplined and strong. So a leader is somebody who has emotional control. In business, all sorts of things happen, fires pop up, but you never show any sort of weakness, at least in public. If something big happens and behind the scenes, we need to discuss it. We do that privately with my leadership members. But In public, you need to fire somebody, or a client is angry, or a chef teacher is complaining. You have to be strong. And people always tell me, like, oh, wow, nothing really affects Eric. And honestly, because I know there's a solution, I know there's a way out. I've been through pretty much everything. I've been through lawsuits and issues with team members and issues with schools and all sorts of employee problems. I've seen it all, and nothing faces me because I just know we'll get through it. I know we have a good team. We have so many vendors and resources and legal and finance and admin and operational and coaching support that we can get through anything. But in public, I have to be strong. But it's not about me because I have a team of leaders. They have to be strong. They have to be disciplined. They can't be weak. And I actually had an issue with that. Look, it's okay to acknowledge mistakes, but do it from a strong frame. Say, hey, look, I made that mistake. It won't happen again. Don't worry about it. But there was quivering, and he would come to his supervisor with that kind of mentality. And eventually we had to let go of this person because they weren't strong. Principle 4, a leader manages their numbers. Guess what? I've written many, many, many blog posts about how important numbers are for running a company. And that's a key to scaling and knowing that your company is doing well, is that you can look at the key numbers and be confident. So for me, I have each of my president, ops director, sales director, they all have key numbers, 5 to 10 max, ideally 5 to 7. And we look at those, and I can look at them any week, any month, or any quarter and see if they're good, which is green, or red, which is bad. We put them in a little Google sheet. I like people who are obsessed with their numbers. Currently, most of our numbers are green. We look at things like revenue, margins, how many issues we have, what's our turnover rate, how many what scores our clients are reviewing us, how many invoices are overdue, how many contracts did the sales team sign, how many calls a week, a month, a quarter the sales team is making, how many proposals are happening, how many first-time sales appointments are happening. We track these numbers very well, and then everyone knows how successful they have to be in their role. Principle number 5, leaders know how to manage other people's numbers, because guess what? It all trickles down. Their numbers are affected by their team. If they have to make 1,000 outbound calls a week, which is a real number my sales team has to make, and they better make sure that the team below them does 200 here and 300 here and 500 there, whatever the metric is. And you have to be good at managing it so everything trickles up the top, because the top numbers reflect everything that happens below. Now, the importance of a number is this. It answers the question, did I have a good week or not? For sales, it's very easy. How many calls did you make? How many meetings did you set? How many proposals did you create? And how many clients did you close? Principle number 6, leaders conduct their weekly meetings effectively. Look, a good meeting is a beautiful thing. Every company, in my opinion, and I've been doing this a long time, needs to have 3 key meetings a week. Each is 90 minutes, and it's very well structured. A leadership meeting of the leaders and the key managers, an operations meeting for all the admin below that, a sales meeting and everyone below that. And if you're like us and you're in the service space, you're going to have an HR meeting for all your staff there. So how does this meeting work? It's a 90-minute meeting, and every meeting you go over the wins of the week, the scorecard, you go over customer employee headlines, you resolve issues, you look at to-do items, you check in with key clients. There's a simple structure for it, and it runs like clockwork. It never changes, ever, 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 ever. If it's 10 a.m. Monday, it's always 10 a.m. on Monday. And if people can't make the meeting, somebody else leads the meeting. If they're off, the meeting still runs. And like clockwork, it provides a place where everyone can talk and meet and problem solve as a group. Because what you don't want is he has a problem and she has a problem, and they talk and then they talk, and then on Thursday somebody talks. Bring it all to the Monday meeting and let's resolve it as a team and lock it in so the solution is there and it never happens again. This feeds into principle number 7, which is communicate with your supervisor. So our team everyone needs to do regular one-on-one check-ins with the team below them. So right now, I'm the CEO and I have a president, and we have 2-hour meetings twice a month. And that's pretty much it. We can have little check-ins, but that's all we need to succeed, because she's been doing this a while. She has leaders below her, and they have their own one-on-one meetings, typically every other week for an hour or 2, whatever's necessary. And guess what? Those people have one-on-ones below them. The one-on-ones have a check-in. You make sure everything's good. You make sure everything is running smoothly. Key element, besides having those one-on-one meetings regularly and on the calendar, is that everyone is aligned in the big goals. Because I don't need to know about the day-to-day, what's going on, as long as it's getting us to the big goal, the 5-year goal, the 3-year goal, the 1-year goal, and the quarterly goal. And guess what? The quarterly goal stemmed from the big one. And if it doesn't, it's a bad quarterly goal. You should get rid of it and do something else. Principle number 8, a leader exemplifies the core values of the business to a T. Now we have 4 core values: win-win, get it done, follow the process, and bring the fun. Every one of those, I could rank anyone in the company, and they could rank me as well as plus, plus minus, or minus. You very much exemplify it. You're okay. Some good, some not so good. It's okay. Or not at all, and there's a serious problem. I look at all of those, and I would talk to my team and go, all right, I ranked you a plus here, a plus here, a plus minus here, and a plus minus here. Here's why the feedback I gave you for the plus minus. And once they receive that information, they could then try to exemplify that. But leaders have to hit like plus, plus. The minimum is 2 pluses and 2 plus minuses. Ideally, your pluses on all 4 of those. If you're 3 pluses and a plus minus, that's okay. But if there's the slightest minus, that's a huge issue. Huge, huge, huge. And I would always make sure that my leaders exemplify all of those. And we've had issues where people weren't getting their projects done. So you got a plus, minus, or a minus. Or maybe they were just kind of really too serious and like it was intense and we didn't like their energy. So their bring the fun wasn't in a good place. Leaders have to set the true example of those core values to a T, and mine do. Leaders excel at project management. So a quarterly rock is a 90-day project and has sub goals. And I like leaders who are obsessed with to-do items below that. They know that in order for this 90-day thing to get done, they have to do this thing by week 2, this thing by week 4, this thing by week 6, and this thing by week 8. And they are obsessed with the details. They know that even all of the to-do items are in their control because if they don't know how to do something, they can hire a vendor to help them with it. Like if your project is you need to film 20 culinary videos to give to our clients and to give to our team. You're not filming, you're not shooting, you're not editing, but you can orchestrate all of it. And that is the key with the project management. We use a software called Asana. We use another one called Basecamp, and it tracks to-do items. And our weekly meetings are ways for us to check in. Our monthly meetings are ways to check in. We make sure that you focus on the most important things because so often you fill up your day with email and little things, but not the most important ones. But a good leader knows the most important thing and does that first. So if you have a team and you give them a project, say, this is the most important project, you should be able to look at their calendar and say, did you spend the first hour to 2 of your day on that project? And if not, why? Because it's more important than emails, it's more important than check-ins, and it's more important than that fire that's always going to happen. If your team has a realistic amount of projects, they should get them done. And leaders know how to make what's a priority a true priority. Lastly, principle number 10 is leaders are masters of delegation. They know how to have their team do the work, not them. If you're the head of sales, I don't want you selling. I want you managing the sales team. I want you on their calls, shadowing, supporting, role-playing, and training. You're not doing the thing. If you're the leader of HR, we hire and train a lot of chef teachers. We currently have about 250 instructors. You're not on every call. You're not hiring every chef teacher. You might review them as they go out. You might review them as they're onboarded, but your team does all the day-to-day key works. If you're the head of operations and you need to organize payroll for 300 people, you don't type it into yourself, but you have a team do it. At the same time, it's very, very important that you know how to, and look, I've done this to a T. I am the CEO, but I used to lead the leadership meeting and I've delegated that. I used to have to review all the bookkeeping work done by the accountant and the bookkeeper. Now I have somebody to do that. We use a lot of legal expertise and I have somebody do all that for me. I have an executive assistant. I delegate, and leaders are true massive delegation. Otherwise, they're not doing their job and you're stuck in the weeds and not high level where you should be. So these are my 10 principles of leadership. If you like these, hit that like button, subscribe. I'm going to drop 2 videos a week. That's the goal. We're pushing hard. And if you would like one-on-one coaching with myself to help you scale your business from 7 to 8 figures like I've done and delegate everything and have a lot of freedom, wealth, and just happiness overall, go to my website. Link is below. It's winwinwitheric.com. Book a consultation meeting with me. I do a couple a week. I'll tell you about how I can help you. I've already got several clients doing it and it's a blast. So have a great rest of your day.